Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 360 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing T.K.O.G. And today I'm going to be showcasing you guys my first place undefeated Sky Striker deck profile. I was debating between this, Drytron, and Pendulums. For Drytron, like, I have almost all the cards. For Strikers, I pretty much had everything except Access Code. But for Pendulums, I only had, like, some of the main deck staples. I had, like, the build that I wanted to take, I didn't have the cards I needed, and then I ended up getting, like, one Oath Dragon and still didn't have everything. And plus, my extra deck is totally neutered and all my cards are scattered, so it was going to take a lot more work, and it was super last minute. So I ended up taking Strikers, and I played against Salmon Great Heroes, Tri Brigade Heroes, the Mirror Match, and I also played against Despia, Shaddoll, Dogmatica. I 2-0'd every match, and I ended up getting first place that day. I recorded some of my matches. I will be uploading them. But yeah, you guys, this deck is really, really fun. I think it's a great meta call. For me, my opinion of Sky Strikers is like very high, you know? I don't know if you guys knew this. Even in like the most recent meta tier list that I put on my channel, Sky Strikers were tier 1. Not everybody agreed with me, and not everybody will agree with me, but I believe that this is a tier 1 deck. And it's pretty much always been a tier 1 deck. It's like, it's survived for so long. And for me, I always like decks to have like a toolbox, right? Toolbox decks naturally are able to adapt. What that means is like they don't really have bad matchups, and naturally they can blend and mesh really well in any given format. So Sky Strikers are able to survive and thrive in really, really bad territory for other decks. It's like where you have like you're surrounded in different places where like there's all these diseases, and you're like the only deck that has the immunity for like every disease, if that makes sense. It's like literally they're just built to survive in any environment. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, like that's just how I feel about this deck. I think it's really strong. It's very flexible. It's very adaptable. There's so many different ways to play it, so many different ways to build it. And on top of that, you have going first and going second lists that all can be different as far as variations go, card ratios, and just the composition and how you build it. I'm not the best Sky Striker player in the world, but I know the deck very well. I know the interactions that really do matter a lot. The technical play is like the biggest deal when you play this deck, because you can win a lot of games without opening broken, if that makes sense. Like, you don't have to open insanely good playing Strikers. With like other decks, like you have to open insane like all the time, right? But like with Sky Strikers, you can open very average or very poor and still win. The deck's just able to dominate in a lot of matchups, and it really can just break almost any board that's being made right now. I picked apart a lot of boards because I blind second every time. That's just how I like playing Strikers ever since the deck came out. And I picked apart every single board that I came up against. The deck's just really, really cool. I like it a lot. And so I was going to do the tournament report, but I don't want the video to be too long. But before we get into this, if you want to, please consider subscribing to my channel. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a dislike if you didn't like the video. Make sure that if you are subscribed that you click the notification bell. And if you want to learn from me or just grow as a player, consider joining my Patreon or even just becoming a member of the Discord. But there's a lot to talk about, and I just want to get the list out the way because I know some people literally just want to like screenshot the list and go. So I'm going to present my starter cards, and then we'll talk about some stuff that I wanted to talk about. So we have 3 Rays. We have 3 Rows. I don't care about what anyone has to say about 3 Rows. I really don't. So you can say what you want. You're never going to change my mind. 3 Rows is the way. 1 Rhoda, 1 Hornibit, 1 Engage. So those are your 9 Sky Striker starters that are guaranteed a way to play. Like, any way to raid is a guaranteed play, basically. Then I played 3 Talents. You'll see why this is a starter. 3 Copies of Fusion Destiny. And then I played 2 Area, 1 Terraforming. So those are my starter cards for my list. So the weirdest one that might not make sense is Talents. You guys might say, why is Talents a starter card for stacks? That's a going second card. Like, the reason why Talents is a starter for me is because the thing is, like, if you go first with Striker, Talents is a horrible card to play. But if you're always going second and your opponent will still make you go second anyways. Sometimes people make me go first. Like, they try to reverse psychology. They're like, oh, he thinks that I'm going to make him go first, so he's going to decide to go second. And then they do the opposite thing too, where like, oh, he's a going second deck, so he's going to decide to go first because he thinks I'm going to make him go first and I'm going to make him go second. You know, this, that, and the third. But like, when you blind second, Talents is insane. The reason being is because you can always force an interaction to turn your Talents on. And the effect that I used the most was Draw 2. I took control of 1 monster 1 time in the Despia matchup. And then I looked at my, the Tri Brigade person. The person that was playing Tri Brigade Heroes with the DPE package. I looked at his hand after he resolved Revolt, and I took his follow-up after I broke his board, put him on top deck mode against 3 interruptions with follow-up. So Talents overperform, but the most crucial play with this card is Draw 2. This is Desires that doesn't require you banishing 10. This is a Pseudo Prosperity that doesn't require you losing cards from your extra deck. And it has 2 other effects that are super clutch. So in my opinion, and you can't really change my mind because I speak from experience, right? Like I think for myself. I'm my own person. I formulate my own opinions and I do my own footwork. I test my cards. I don't use anyone to do the work for me. I don't need someone to tell me what's good. I'll figure it out myself just by testing and playing against other decks and just learning what works for me and what doesn't. Because some cards I think are good till I test them and I'm like, this card's terrible, I'm taking it out. Well, Talents was something I was scared to try, and I'm so glad that I didn't just not do it, because I was like, dang, there must be a reason why a lot of striker players don't play it. I'm like, who cares what they're doing? I'm going to try it out. Card was crazy. Draw 2 is insane in this deck. This allows you to see your starters. It's also a great bait if you already have a way to play. And in addition to that, it just helps breaking board even better. It just helps you to power through Dragoon even more. You could just take Dragoon and just make a Zeke with it and then bait another interaction. If it's for the extra monster zone, you trigger Rose from the grave, Rose summon the gate, make Verde, make DPE. It's crazy. Like, this deck is nuts. Like, I was actually just, like, I was literally just powering through these boards that people were establishing. I resolved Rose, like, 5 times in my Tri-Brigade matchup. I resolved Rose multiple times every match. Rose was actually MVP. The 3 Rose, I was triggering her off of any interaction I can. I mean, like, you could trigger off Nibiru, but what I was doing is I was triggering her off of Zeke, I was triggering her after Afterburners, I was triggering her off of DPE. I would even take my follow-ups away, and knowing that I was summoning DPE against decks like Salad and Tri-Brigade, when I know they have to summon to the extra monster zone, kill their cards with DPE, trigger my Rose, summon Rose, now I have a follow-up. Even if I had no Sky Striker, Ace, Ray, or any way to engage in my hand, I would just trigger DPE. DPE would give me my follow-up. I was doing that with Rose all the time. People were like literally not even seeing Rose coming. It's almost like they either forgot that she had that effect or they thought that I would never remember it. I remembered Rose every single time. That's another reason why I was doing so well. I never forgot about my Rose, and I played it so strategically. It was crazy. I used Rose in so many different ways. She was actually the MVP. Rose was absolutely insane. I even did Rose off Hayate when I attacked over a Balinks with Ray. Tribute Ray, summon Hayate, attack dump Rose, Sever Chain Rose, summon Rose, attack for 15, make Verde and Akana, DPE. Even though I had left no Sky Striker links on my field, I knew I was playing Salad, I knew he's going to summon to extra monster zone, I knew DPE would give me Rose back. It was absolutely insane. But yeah, Talents was incredible. I love this card. I'll never cut it. It's super duper good. You could just take it out and your deck would be like 40 cards, but I do not care. I don't feel like I need to play exactly 40 cards to increase my odds as highly as possible to draw a starter. The thing is, the way I build decks is what matters is what you put in. It doesn't matter how many cards you have in your deck. What matters is what the cards do and what they are. If they're situational cards that require for you to draw another card next to them, then don't put more of those cards in. But if it's a standalone card that can allow you to also see deeper, dig deeper into your deck, it's crazy. Like, let's say I was playing 40 cards and then I added 3 Pot of Desires. Most people would say, oh, I'll just take 3 cards out because there's no way I'm playing more than 40. I would say, well, Desires isn't really like an extra card. It's going to let me see the next few cards in my deck every time I draw it. That's why I see Talents. So Talents is actually added in. I didn't take anything out for it. Fusion Destiny is Fusion Destiny. Area Zero is like an RNG. I do play Mystic Mine just the one. I only Mystic Mine one person and I didn't deck them out. I just mined them to get a couple cards and then I killed them after that. You have your 9 ways to Ray. The thing with this deck is like, I'm a big fan of like Invoked and I really do love Shaddolls, but like, I think that Ray's the best normal summon in the game. She's better than Rabina. She's better than Mo Yi. She's better than Alcer. Ray's the most powerful normal summon in the game. You cannot change my mind. Ray's actually insane. The amount of advantage that you get every turn is so much, like the advantage is so high quality, I would say, that she also forces interruptions every turn. You literally one Ray does so much, especially like Ray with another monster, even if it's Rose, like the fact that you could trigger, you can get Zeke to banish a card, trigger Rose, summon her back from grave. You can use Hayate to dump something like Widow Anchor to pressure them with Kagari, forcing them to negate Kagari. And like, I remember my Ray, I went into Kagari, it got hand trapped, then I went to Shiz, it got Ash 2 times in a row. So that means my opponent threw 4 interruptions at 1 Ray. 1 Ray. Every turn. Just Ray. Just literally, just Ray and grave using my link climbing, right? Hayate Shiz. Hayate Kagari. Negate? Okay, so Ghost Spell, that's fine. In-Face Shiz, Ash. Then another turn, In-Face Shiz, Ash. It was insane. So, like, Ray applies so much pressure. If you open 4 hand traps in 1 Ray, your hand is insane. Like, Ray is all you need. Like, she'll get you into the game. She'll keep you in the game, too. Like, the amount of longevity and the pressure that you get, like, all those pluses every single turn, Ray can just break boards literally by herself. It's actually insane. Like, if you open Striker cards in Ray, it's crazy. Like, you could pressure these boards, like Sword Soul boards, etc. Even for example, like even though it's not as popular like Drytron boards, you can actually break those boards with engine. Like if you have like Burner, Widow, Shark, that's like the perfect example with no droplets or anything. Like you just pressure your Herald, Afterburners, chain negate, chain Widow, chain discard Eva, chain Shark Cannon, target Eva, banish it, no more fairies, no more negates, no more Ray, dump engage, add engage, draw. Like it's insane. Like this deck's really, really good. But I will say, Striker's only really, really good when there's a really good pilot behind it. Because this is not your run-of-the-mill deck. This is not for average Joes, you know? Like a Tri-Brigade player is not going to be a good Sky Striker player, for example. You know, it's not just about thinking. You have to think so far into the future when you play this deck that if you're not like a patient player, if you're like a greedy, I have to get my cards right now, I want the biggest, most scary looking board, like you're not going to do good with Strikers because nothing that the deck does is broken. And everything is all about marginal trades. Marginal trades being like any 1-for-1 interactions that you can force are going to be advantageous for you because your engine can plus more and carry you over in the next turns more than other decks can, more often than not. It's not just that this deck gains so much advantage, it's that it can maintain that same advantage that it gains. Like that's why you can trade so well with every deck. And Ray automatically trades the 2 interruptions plus your Sky Striker engine are all cards that must be negated. It's crazy. So it's really, really good. So those are all the starters, just so you guys know. DPE popping Area 0 is something so common. People say it all the time. But I never hear people mentioning, oh, DPE triggers Rose. Like, they just don't think about that. I think a lot of people really do forget about that. And the other thing that's super annoying with me, like when I see people play Sky Strikers, is like they use Hayate to dump Engage and then add Engage when they have no spells engraved. And they activate it in Search a Widow. And I'm like, what the heck are you doing, bro? Like, hold your Engage to make it more prosperous for you. So go ahead and use Hayate and just dump the card you were going to search off Engage and search your Engage off Shiz next turn. So that way you can double Engage. Double Engage with 3 spells engraved is better than Engage with no spells engraved when you're resolving it once. You might as well just Hayate dump what you were going to search off Engage. It doesn't make sense. People do it all the time. It's so annoying. It actually is just dumb. So like whenever I don't like need Engage, if I absolutely need it, I'll do that play. But if I don't need it, I'm not going to be greedy. Like I'm just going to go Hayate dump multi-roll, Kagari it back, in-face Shiz, and I'm either gonna, if I already have a striker card like Shark Cannon or Widow to trigger the multi-roll, I'll do it that way. But if not, I'll search for something to trigger and set off multi-roll, and I'll be patient. I can wait a turn for Engage. I don't need Engage to win the duel. There's actually 2 of my 4 matches I didn't need Engage to win. So yeah, those are just all things that I just felt like needed to be said. But if you guys don't like it, you know, just skip the video. You know, put me on 3 times speed and be like, oh, this guy needs to shut up because I don't care about anything else to say. I just want to look at his cards and see his list. So for the rest of my engine, I played 3 Widows. I played 2 Shark. Shark was actually MVP besides Rose. Shark is actually, like, honestly, Shark Cannon and Afterburners are my favorite striker cards. But I love Shark the most because it lets me play anybody's deck. So when I kill Bear in the floor and Dragoons, I take their Dragoons, use it against them. And whenever I'm done, I link them off with Verde Anaconda or Zeke's. Or, for example, like with the Baroness, I could send it off multi-roll or I could send it off of the Area 0. The other thing, too, that people forget about, like with the talents, is like, even though like Bird Up, sometimes their cards can't be targeted, like certain cards, like, people forget, like, Samorg says that it can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects, right? But if you take the Samorg link with talents, even though it can't be used as a link material, you could still send it off multi-roll, you could still send it off of Area 0, and you could still banish it off of your own Zeke. You get what I'm saying? When you take Samorg, you can target it, but your opponent can't. So, like, that's another thing that's really cool with talents is, like, it allows you to take Samorg off the field, meaning that now the Bird Up matchup is it's way freer than it ever has been. Because the main issue is that you can't use some of your most powerful cards against them. Now, if they were dumb enough to properly summon an Omen, then you could just Shark Cannon the Omen and just banish one of their cards non-targeting. But I feel like when they know they're playing Striker, no one's stupid enough to properly summon an Omen. The Tri-Brigade player that I played against in the tournament did do that. But I just think he hasn't played against Strikers enough. Because if he had played against Strikers, he would know he should have never summoned that Omen off that Revolt. He should have never triggered Revolt. He activated Hornet Drones. He waited for me to summon Hate. He revolted in battle phase. I whittled his Omen. And the thing is, like, because it was properly summoned, that the thought crossed my mind, like, oh, snap. Because I had talents, and I said, I could be greedy right now. I could talents to draw 2, and then I could just use my Shark Cannon to summon his Omen and banish his normal summon next turn. But I said, you know what? I don't need to do all that. That's unnecessary. I'm just going to talents to take a card from his hand, and I'm just going to hold Shark Cannon for, like, even more pressure in case, like, he gets even better top deck. Like, Fusion Destiny, for example. You know, if he goes into DPE, that's a different story. So, but it was just the fact that it could have came up. Like, Shark Cannon was just crazy. Like, taking her to the Arc Lights, Bear in the Floors, taking people's chi shells, like any powerful boss monster that your deck cannot mate, you could still play it. It's like, it feels like when you're playing Totally Awesome, you know what I mean? You could just play anyone's deck without playing the bricks or the engine cards. That's why I love Shark Cannon. I also really, really love Afterburners. It's insane. I was actually playing 2, and I cut it down to make room for the Fusion Destiny stuff. Then we have, because I was actually playing pure Sky Strikers. I wasn't playing DP in it yet. We have 1 Eagle Booster. I feel like anybody that doesn't play this card is actually smoking crack. This card is insane. This card is absolutely nuts. The other funny thing with Eagle Booster that a lot of people really don't think about is that you can use it on your opponent's own cards. So what's really cool, like, let's say, oh, you know what's really funny? Something that I did with my Magical Musketeers, something that could kill you. Like, let's say, this is not the most perfect example, but this is just to give you an idea on how this card works. Like, let's say your opponent tries to Utopia the W, right? You can actually Eagle Booster their target so that you won't actually be able to give it the full attack boost. Like when they negate their own attack, activate Utopia the double. Double or nothing. It will like double the attack and make it able to attack again. But you could chain Eagle Booster and make it unaffected by that. So like Eagle Booster also works in other scenarios. Because like for example, you know how you can't super poly a towers because like it's unaffected by card effects. So like when cards are unaffected by card effects, like they can't be used as fusion materials because like the fusion actually is an effect that's trying to use them as a material. So like even if I wanted to, super poly can be responded to, but another example is like if my opponent tries to fusion summon using something as a material, that fusion spell is an effect that affects that card. So I could chain Eagle Booster to that and make them unable to use it as a fusion material because it'd be unaffected by card effects. It's the same thing why you can't super poly away a towers as card. So like I hope you guys are understanding like the crazy technical play I do with Eagle Booster that I feel like I need to lace y'all up, put y'all on game on how good this card is. It overperforms in certain matchups. And then 1 multi-roll, anybody that doesn't play multi-roll is smoking crack. This card is insane. I get access to this as early as possible, whether it's a mirror match or not, because every turn when I get to start with multi-roll, I get a free bait for a negate, and then I get another bait for a negate by activating Engage, then I Kagari, and then that's another bait for a negate, and I can still play after that. It's insane. Like, the fact that you can just, like, Afterburner, Widow, Zeke, and then Verde Anaconda after is just insane. So, that's on my engine. Hand traps. I feel like hand traps are better than hardcore going second cards in this deck because it doesn't matter if you go first or second. Hand traps are always good. And you know the other thing that I like about hand traps in this deck is that people will always side back row removal against you. So, your floodgates are not always going to stick. And then you have cards like Mystic Mind, There Can Be Only One. All those cards like are good. But they're only good in like game 1 when your opponent doesn't have an out to them. But games 2 and 3, your opponent's going to side deck outs for those. So even if they don't draw it right away, it's the fact that they will have it. Where I feel like hand traps are different. Like my opponent can twin versus my back row and I'll still have 2 hand traps. That means I have 2 more 1-for-1s. After they 2-for-2 my back row, I have 2 more 1-for-1 interactions. And if you guys remember what I said in my profile, like 1-for-1s and strikers are insane because their marginal trades are like top notch. Like there's very few decks that can like 1-for-1 the way strikers can and always come out on top. Because like I said, you gain the advantage and you maintain it. So you pressure your opponent with just resources. So you have like 3 ways you can win. Like you can either just literally outsmart your opponent. You can outplay them just literally by out-resourcing them, draining them of the resources, meaning like you force systematic interactions every turn till your opponent can't respond anymore. When they don't have a response, they die. And then thirdly, you can just kill them with their own cards. So like the way I play strikers is like I'm very patient, and sometimes I will only go lethal if my opponent gives me the leeway, which means I'm not going to play in the Nibiru, I'm not going to overextend, I'm not going to burn a lot of my resources, right? I'm not going to like Celine, access code, do all the overkill stuff. I'm just going to use Widows and Sharks to do my dirty work for me. And that's like how I play. I'm like a very passive aggressive Sky Striker player. And like that's just like something that, you know, it could be good advice for you if you play strikers. Like you really don't have to do a lot of crazy stuff with the deck. The deck is like not unfair, but it's so good that a lot of the times your opponent does your work for you. You know, just them playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So like what I even do with my knowledge of strikers is if I play against a Sky Striker player and I know that I don't have a good enough hand to trade with them yet, I won't commit any cards to the field or the grave because I'm giving them leverage to kill me with, if that makes sense. Last cards are Mystic Mind and Celestial. I gave the Dasher back. I was borrowing a Dasher that day, but I gave it back. So there's a card missing from my deck, which is the Destiny Hero Dasher. But Mystic Mind is, I still play it because I think it's an incredible card, but this is not like Mystic Mind Strikers. This is like, I'm actually going to outsmart you kind of Sky Strikers. I'm not just going to sit on Mystic Mind and try to deck you out. Like, I'm going to beat you just by being more skilled than you. So the extra deck, these are sticking together. 3 Kagari. In the mirror match, I actually like Shark Cannon a lot too, because in the mirror, which is super popular, I just summon my opponent's Kagaris off Shark. Like the Sky Striker player I played against, he was summoning my Rays and my Rose off his Shark Cannon, and then using them to link into his own links. So he was burning his resources when he didn't have to. I had a Kagari engraved. He could have just summoned it off Shark, triggered the Kagari, add back, and then link climbed it into something else. That's like how you play really good in the mirror match. Use the Shark Cannon, keep your extra deck value and your keep your extra deck, I want to say, keep your extra deck resources in hand. Like, sometimes it's not worth it to summon Kagari in the mirror. Like, if your opponent summon Kagari, you never have to summon Kagari again, because you can constantly Shark Cannon their Kagari for you, so that way you have a Kagari, but they don't, if that makes sense. Like, they'll be forced to keep summoning theirs, and that means they're going to run out, whereas you keep summoning theirs and you don't use yours, they don't get the same leeway as you. Like, that's another big brain interaction like I did against the Striker player that I played against. And he didn't even know the Widow versus Widow, like where you try to take my link with Widow, and I chain my Widow, negate my card so you can't take it. Like, he probably just did play Strikers in the Eternal format. Like I did. I'm not like I said, I'm not the best Striker player, but I'm not dumb. I know the deck, and I know how it works, and I know how the mirror works. We have three Kagari, 3 Shiz, 2 Ayate, 1 Kaina, 1 Zeke. Zeke is like so crazy. I triggered Rose off Zeke like 3 times. I was just like, banish, effective Rose. You could do that? Yeah, I can. Summon, go into Verde Anaconda, summon DPE. It was crazy. This was supposed to be my Hulk Celine access code package. I did not have access code. I played Ningirsu. 3 of my opponents let me proxy the Ningirsu for access code because they were like, it's just the locals, it's fine. One of my opponents did it, and like I still beat him, but if I was able to proxy access code, I would have killed him sooner. But like I get it. For me, I was like, it's just the locals, but it is what it is. Because I understand. Some people just want to win. So that's going to be the end of the profile, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. Have a wonderful day, and let me know what you think of my profile, you guys. Peace.